Genesis from nothingness. Untethered energy igniting and cascading through the void. Matter colliding. Planets breathing fire. And the mud awoke. The conception of existence, the initiation of being. From cells to civilizations, from harmony to apocalypse, towering empires, forgotten legacies, altruism and atrocities, utopias and tyrannies, ignorance and discoveries, extinction and posterity. Beginnings and ends. All are just fragments of time, scattered across an aging cosmos.
Well, I hope you're all making yourselves feel right at home because you know it's a rare occurrence that we bust out the old Metal Motel jam session on a Monday night. Come on. I mean, in addition to keeping everyone in our small but tight and very metal community on our toes, I felt there was something different in the air tonight, just like Phil Collins did so many years ago. When I left the surf of the Pacific Ocean and I headed out on that lonely desert road a couple hours back, only it wasn't in the air, it was in the sky. If you looked up, you'll see that crazy full moon of May, and God, is she gorgeous. And it just put me in the mood to move everything up 24 hours. What can you do? That's life. That moon just put me in a metal mood for some highly anthemic shit, like we just heard. Starting off the Metal Motel tonight, Maynard. And to be quite honest, I don't know much about Maynard. They have a brand new album out. I checked it out 2 nights ago, and it's fantastic. They're a band out of France. I think Bordeaux, France is where they're from. And I got to be honest, I know nothing about them other than the first 4 tracks on their new album, which is called Shards of Time. Might be the best 4 tracks off a debut CD that I've heard in years. And make no bones about it, because we are live in SoCal, and we, collectively, of course, are the Metal Motel, where the desert meets the beach. And I said anthemic. And we really kick things off with my anthem, St. Vitus, Born Too Late. I know I was only 15, when that album came out. And I have loved it since high school. That's no bullshit. St. Vitus right there, Born Too Late, title track from, what was their third album? First one, of course, with Scott Weinrich, and probably their most well-known full-length album, indeed, is Born Too Late from back in 1986. You're on the Metal Motel with the heavy metal wizard tonight. And if you don't know what the Metal Motel is by this point, I rent out a cheap, sleazy, and dirty, sometimes filthy motel room, and somewhere between the desert and the beach here in SoCal, so we can get in the right mood to crank things up and get dirty and play some filthy metal, because there's nothing better in life than late night dirty metal. And you know it and I know it, right? But speaking of requests, I am going to play this one for my good bud Lou Riccadelli, because he and I were discussing this new Motorhead project that's coming out. It's called the Manticore Tapes, and he was buzzing all about it. And I got to tell you, I'm not impressed, because it's all just rehashed stuff from 1976 and 77, which I already own. I mean, if you have On Parole, or the first Motorhead album, you've collected all this stuff, and now you're going to pay $69 to get a book with it. And maybe, an official live release from the concert back in 1977. But I guess, listen, if you've got the cash, do the dash. Going out to Lou Riccadelli. Oh, yeah. Talk about a anthem. Motorhead, motorcycles and all, on the Metal Motel. So the moral of the story is, if you want to hear something on the Metal Motel, make a request, let me tell you the right way to go about it, okay? You can do it by going back and commenting on any of the older, not this one, the older Gotcha Metal live streams. This way, only I will see it, and it won't be obvious, and it'll be a surprise for everybody out there, because you've been so great to me over this past year or so, and I kind of feel bad that I don't play that many personal requests for guys like Lassie or Scotty out there, or Charlene, or in this case, Lou Riccadelli. You know what I'm trying to say, right? So I'm making it official. If you go back and you hit me up, because I'll get a notification. I'm still learning this shit, right? I'll get a notification even if it's an older stream, and then I'll get that request out for you guys. I promise. That's a Heavy Metal Wizard promise. A Metal Motel promise. I said anthemic stuff tonight because it's a Monday night. It's a rarity for the Metal Motel. And since we did join the Army, title track from Suicidal's second album, also back in 1986. Great stuff. Great time. It's so good to be 15. Wasn't it? But since we're talking Army, let's do some tunes about weaponry. Oh, yes, one of my favorite topics. And here's a band that's named after weaponry who wrote a song about a different kind of weaponry. It's the sword. How heavy this axe. Hell yeah! going back away for that one. From The More Things Change. Yes, 10-Ton Hammer from Machine Head. Has anyone heard the new Machine Head CD yet? Out there? Have you? I have not. And I got to check it out. I'm getting behind because as we hit May, the amount of new releases becomes overwhelming. But I'll get around to that new Machine Head. Before that, The Sword with the, I guess what would be the sort of title track from Gods of the Earth. How Heavy This Axe. There is a lyric in there about gods of the earth, right? Of course, Suicidal and Motorhead and St. Vitus and Maynard here on the Metal Motel tonight where the desert meets the beach. It's live in SoCal, yes, on the Gotcha Metal channel. And I'm going to do one more weaponry-based track because I just heard a brand new album from Warhammer. That's right, the boys from Newbury Park. It's on the edge of Ventura County and L.A. County, I think. I got to check the old atlas, right? But anyway, Warhammer, phenomenal 6th album from these guys. And the album is called Wrath and Ruin. And the lead track is just a ripper, to say the least. And I can't help but play a band called Warhammer doing a track called The Sword and the Cross. Because it's just awesome, and it's the Metal Motel.
steel and glass. I sold this tradition, it is my birthright. The bending peasants, get out of my sight. Once I brought the sword, and still I am thy lord. My fathers brought the sword, yet I remain thy lord. Your children yet unborn, my sons shall be their lords. Living bones lay below the hill, it makes no difference, I own you still. Onward forever until this earth dies. The cross and the sword burnt into the sky.
Heavy Metal Wizard! for those of you like myself who find yourself howling at the gorgeous full flower moon this evening, well, that Entombed is going out to you, ladies and gentlemen. Little Night of the Vampire from the self-titled Entombed CD from back in the late 90s. And you could probably tell that I'm playing that off a cassette. You hear that hiss in there? That's old school, because that's the Metal Motel, where the desert meets the beach, of course. And I am the heavy metal wizard. And it's the Gotcha Metal channel, in case you don't know, in case you're just tuning in for the first time, right? Before that was Warhammer, with just an epic and what I consider to be the best song of 2025 right there, The Sword and the Cross from Warhammer's new album. It's really good. I got a chance to check it out last week, and mind's blown, as Jack Black would say. Well, let's kick back into the music. I want to do a song, and I say this sometimes, and I get a lot of flack, because I guess I say it too much. But this is one of the greatest metal tracks of all time right here. And it's definitely the greatest metal track of, like, you know, the past couple of decades at least that features a blues harp. It's the band Goat Snake, another LA band of high caliber, in my opinion. And this track is called El Coyote of the Metal Motel. Classic stuff from Filth Pig. And when I first heard that track from that album, I thought maybe they were making fun of what was at that point the most recent Metallica CD. But after listening to the lyrics, that really doesn't make much sense. I think it's just Al Jorgensen being Al Jorgensen, right? Before that goat snake with a monster cut there, El Coyote. And I originally thought that track may have been about the bar/restaurant near Hollywood, right? El Coyote Bar and Grill. But after listening to those lyrics, I guess Pete Stahl's just being Pete Stahl, because that doesn't make sense either. But just because I am the heavy metal wizard, just because I'm ageless, doesn't mean I'm always right. As a matter of fact, I'm mostly wrong. Except when I say look it up, because that means that I already looked it up. Metal Motel, where the desert meets the beach, on the Gotcha Metal channel. Want to say hey to Dave and Charlene and Andy and Kunapkin, who all checked in. Lassie, of course. Danny, of course. Scotty, of course. Lou Riccadelli, you got your request, so don't make any more for a long time. Bullet, hey. And, of course, Fairy Girl. Hello and howdy to all of you. You guys make my night. You make my week. And I love that you guys keep me company on these late nights. Like I always say, you've got the biggest metal nads out there, because we're all going to be late for school tomorrow, this time on a Tuesday. And there would be nobody else that I would rather hang out with on a nightly basis. Even my family. I'll hang out with them during the day. But when it comes to, getting close to the midnight hour, like we are right now, well, I'd rather be with you guys. I really mean that. Let's end with a classic. And I was looking for the studio version, and I can't find it in my CD collection here or on laptop number 1, which is the only one working right now. So we're going to go and play a version from back in 2019. And I'll give you just this one little hint. The album is called Knights of the Dead, and it's live in Mexico City. I'm sure you can figure this out. Classic stuff. It's the Heavy Metal Wizard signing out. Everybody have a great night.
begins to fade. Sometimes feel a little strange, a little anxious when it's dark. Fear of the dark, fear of the dark. I have a constant fear that something's always near. Fear of the dark.